up into fourth gear, up into fifth. Absolutely flat along here. The top cars will be doing something like in the region of 130 miles an hour. Over this bump, another blind crest. There's an arrow. What's it say? Oh, it's a tricky one. Into a right-hander.
Good evening and welcome to another Top Gear. Tonight coming to you live from the control centre of this year's Lombard RAC Rally here in Chester. On Sunday morning, 151 cars left the starting ramp here on a gruelling 1,700-mile thrash around northern England, Scotland and Wales, all chasing what is commonly held to be the top prize in international rallying. The top prize because the Lombard RAC is the only round of the World Championship that still has completely secret special stages. There are 65 special stages this year, 450 miles in total, much of it over the roughest and toughest of forest roads. The drivers have no practice runs in it, no marked maps, no notes. And that really is what the RAC Rally is all about. Crack drivers attacking unknown roads, going flat out at about 4 o'clock in the morning on some of the wettest and windiest and bleakest nights of the year. This year, we're following the fortunes of two British drivers, Tony Pond, the top-seeded British driver, and Mike Jackson, who's making a very special sort of challenge. 2 weeks ago, we spoke to Tony Pond at practice in the Forest of Dean.
Right, the first thing we're trying to look for is some traction as we leave the line. See it, not bad. It's a nasty sort of left-hander over a crest. This one looks okay, but there you see it tightens with rocks on the inside. Left-hand corner's not too bad, you can see it all the way. There's a crest on the horizon now. Which way does the road go? Downhill. Coming into fifth gear. Doing about 85, 90 miles an hour, sliding a bit. Knock the speed off. Up again. There's a crest now. We've got to knock the speed off because we don't quite know where the road goes. Go to the left or right. Twisty, and there's a tight one at the bottom. Bit of panic braking here. Handbrake. Get the tub out. Far too many people sort of take up the sport without going through the basics of first learning to handbrake the car and learning to drive it through sort of not lower forms of sport, but more driving tests, autocross, where you just learn to make the car do what you want.
Well, you're referring to the handbrake there. Why is that particular significance? And we heard you on commentary saying they're using handbrake. How does it help?
It's a very quick way of flicking the tail out on a very tight hairpin or something, and you've got to be able to do it right. It's no good arriving there and doing it too early and half spinning it, going up the road backwards, or too much and hitting the bank on the far side of the road. It's a manoeuvre which is quite difficult to get right, and it's surprising how many people just don't get that basic manoeuvre quite right. You can save yourself seconds and seconds.
Well, initially I started, it must be nearly 20 years ago now, and I did an odd treasure hunt and a small, what we call now a 12-car rally. Quite enjoyed them. But unfortunately, just after that, I had a serious road accident. Resulted in the loss of my right arm. Eventually, I was still very interested in motor cars. I don't know why, but originally started co-driving or navigating. It was on road rallies. Eventually, decided the driver wasn't quick enough, so we took up driving again. The problem in stages, especially with conditions like they are in this forest today, are very sticky, and it does make things a lot more difficult for me. Somehow we cope. The only major problem that we can have, apart from a mechanical failure, is a puncture. But normally we would not stop and change a puncture during a special stage. Obviously, if it was a long stage, like we were expecting on this rally, where up to 33 miles, we'd have to stop. But I can cope as well as anybody with changing the flat. That's where the co-driver can jack the car up, I can slacken the wheel up to get the spare out of the boot, so there's no problem. Right, coming up to him, a 90 left, braking hard, setting the back end out on the brakes, accelerating round, keeping the back end out to the throttle, accelerating away, into third gear, slight brow, goes over the brow right, goes 90 right, down into second, and set the car slightly sideways. around on the power again, keeping the back end out. Away now in third, sweeps left, tightens up on itself.
Well, before they plunged into the forests of the Lake District, the drivers went through their paces on a series of fast tarmac stages in the Midlands, in front of well over 200,000 spectators coming from all over the world. Our cameras were at Sutton Park, the second stage, but first, let's have a brief driver's eye view of this stage with rally driver John Taylor.
Down into this right-hander, looks like a 90 right. It is quite slippery, banks on the outside, keeping it going downhill now through this gateway. A lot of people here. Oh, it's a hairpin left. Very difficult to see those arrows there. It's going left. Oh, we're all right.
And we're waiting now for the first car in the rally. Henri Toivonen and Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, the man who won last year, the youngest ever winner of the RAC Rally at only 24. 7th in this year's World Championship. What about that, John?
Well, he's last year's winner. He's a young lad. He's in tremendous form. His confidence is right up. He'll go very well this year.
And of course the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus team looking for the World Championship. They have to stop Datsun from winning, and the Coventry team have won the World Championship. And this is a man who wants to lead them to that victory. Really clattering through here. 4.9 miles. We reckon they'll do it in about 4 minutes.
He had a very cool drive in San Remo for one so young. He's one of the youngest drivers in the World Championship, and he's a young man. And this is Ari Vatanen, the young Finnish superstar, who is in fact in second place in the World Championship. He needs to finish 5th or higher and in front of Guy Freckeland to win the World Championship. 2 years ago on this very stage at the Ford, he hit the Ford concrete and broke a wheel. Let's hope he gets through there okay this year.
Yes, John, this 29-year-old Finn had a superb season. He's won the Acropolis Rally, won the Brazilian Rally, won the Thousand Lake Rally. Of course, he's in the ubiquitous Escort, the car which we saw win for 8 years. This is the man that Talbot have got to fear. This is the man who's got to be right up at the front, and of course, ahead of Guy Freckeland. Superb young driver, and of course, knows British rallying.
Yes, and what impresses me, what I've seen so far, he's driving very neat and tidily.
And this is the car that the crowd have waited for, the famous Lancia Stratos. Marco Allain driving it, a man who's twice led the RAC Rally in this car, a car we've had about for 9 years. This is really the last of the dinosaurs, isn't it, John? The last time we're going to see a car quite like this one.
Yes, this was the first of the supercars, and of course with the new current Group B regulations, we're going to see more of this type of car. Marco loves this car. He's asked specifically for this car for this rally. He wants to win this event more than anything else.
He's got a V6 Ferrari engine, of course, bags of power, quite a long car for the Forest. This is the World Championship leader. This is Guy Freckeland in the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, the 36-year-old Frenchman they call Grizzly, but they won't be calling him that without a smile on the face if he can win the World Championship at Talbot. And so this British team, the Sunbeam Talbot, are looking for 2 championships, the World Drivers' Championship with this man, and of course the World Manufacturers' Championship.
Yes, and Guy went to Bandama, which was the last round of the World Championship, and finished 5th in a Peugeot to really set himself up. Last year, his first RAC rally, and people said he wouldn't do any good. He finished 3rd. So what's he going to do this year?
Well, he's won the Argentinian rally. He's got Jean Todt, a very experienced co-driver with him. But he knows he's going to finish in that first 5 and beat Vatanen, and he's done it. There is car number 5, which of course is Hanno Mikler. The most exciting car in this rally, perhaps, the Audi Quattro, turbocharged, 4-wheel drive. Mikler, twice the winner of this event. And John, this is the car of the future.
Oh, undoubtedly, and on my unofficial watch, he's so much quicker than anything else up to here. 4-wheel drive, is this the way cars are going in the future? Dual winner Hanno Mikler, he must be everybody's favourite, and doesn't it look good?
Well, of course, he won the Swedish rally in this car, and of course, Michel Mouton, the lady driver's won a rally in this car. 2 outright victories already, but look how steady that car is. No, this is Britain's hope for the rally. This is Tony Pond, the man who's having his 36th birthday tomorrow. At the present, he wants to be leading the rally in the morning in this Vauxhall Chevette. He's our best hope of a rally win, a home rally win, since Roger Clark in 1976.
And Barry, he's in trouble. The engine is on 3 cylinders at the water splash. Tony, over the previous years, has gone so hard early on. He's made mistakes. Let's hope he doesn't make an early mistake this year.
Well, last time he finished up literally in the lion's den, didn't he, on one of the rallies? But here that engine has got a problem. But Vauxhall have done very well in the British Championship, and it's not a bad car, is it, John?
No, it's a very good car, and if Tony can get through these early stages without any problems, I think he's got a super chance, barring the Quattro.
This is Timo Salonen coming to your picture now, in, of course, the Datsun Violet. The last time perhaps we'll see this car, the car that's won the Safari Rally, and the car in which he won the Ivory Coast Rally. But there's a new turbo-engine Datsun on the way, isn't there, John?
Yes, I believe there is, but the significant thing with this man is that he, up until now, until the Bandama Ivory Coast Rally, he had not won a major rally, and now his form, he didn't believe he could win in the Ivory Coast, so his confidence is going to be very high.
30 years old, 6th in the championship, of course, yet another Finn. Perhaps one of the silent men of rallying, but not the way he's driving there. What about that for a slide, John?
If it gets very slippery and difficult over the night sections, this man is a very, very good driver in tricky conditions.
Well, this is one of the new generations, the Renault 5 Turbo. Little Jean Randiotti in it, the man who won the Monte Carlo Rally in this car. He's entered 3 RAC rallies but never finished. And surprisingly, John, this is the first time that a Renault has been in this rally officially since 1977.
That's right, Barry, and a very welcome sight it is to see them over here with this car. I think a lot of people are expecting very high things from this car, but we must remember that they haven't had a lot of experience on secret roads, and this is what this rally is all about.
And what about the throttle lag, the one we've seen in the Formula 1 Renault? Can you notice any of that, John?
Yeah, we've got this hairpin here, it should show up here. Yes, you can just see it's waiting and then it comes in, but it doesn't look too bad.
The first lady driver ever to win a World Championship rally, and this is the 99th World Championship rally, and here she is in, of course, one of the Audi Quattros. She's 8th in the championship with 30 points after her historic victory in the San Remo rally. What about that win, John?
Absolutely marvellous, and what a performance for a girl to lead a World Championship rally. It is so physically demanding on the drivers, and she looked really quite positively fresh at the end of it. A marvellous performance.
Let's watch that grip here, John. Take us through it as you did last time.
Yes, they're coming down over this crest. They come down, this is quite a square left. It's quite tight. Coming down to it now.
Winner of the San Remo
You'll
Rally.
probably see some flames from the exhaust as she lifts off. That's the unburned fuel. Now round she goes.
Not inspected over.
And virtually no lag at all, and no flame. Now on Hanu's car, yes, there goes the flame.
And here's a man who can take his rallying seriously or good-humouredly as you wish. The favourite of the British crowds, Roger Clark, the winner in 72 and 76 in a private escort. Pure genius, John.
The old maestro himself, and of course he has Chris Searle from That's Live programme with him, and the man, in fact, who I am looking after on this event. So I'm especially keen that this man does very well.
It's impossible to say just how much Roger Clark has done for British rallying. All those victories in the early days of the escort carried through right up to 76 when he won the RAC Rally again. One of the most cheerful men in the sport, Roger Albert Clark, and surely the wishes of all the thousands and thousands in this park go with him.
And I'm especially pleased. He looks confident. He's waggling his arms around. He looks like the old Roger. I'm hoping for a good run from this man.
Well, this is Mike Jackson, and look at the way he's flinging this car about. It is very hard to believe it. This is the man who's driving with one arm, lost an arm in an accident, and in this year of the disabled, surely that crowd must admire the courage and, of course, the technique and talent of Mike Jackson. What about that for driving, John?
Absolutely incredible. I know I had a tremendous job to keep the car on the road with both hands and every function working, I thought, properly. How this man does it is absolutely unbelievable.
Car number 85, Malcolm Stewart from New Zealand.
To be, and if you did skip. As 85 comes into view.
Oh dear.
This is
What a long way to come to take a wrong turning. Beautiful bit of handbrake turn. And Malcolm Stewart back on the right road again. Well, this crowd have just heard the sensational news that the fastest man on this stage this morning has been Hannu Mikkola in the Audi Quattro with a time of 4 minutes 38 seconds. And that is, believe it or not, 10 seconds faster than the second man, who is Ragnotti, the man who won Monte Carlo this year in that little Renault Turbo. Third fastest is, as you would expect, Marco Alain in the Lancia Stratos with 4 minutes 49. And then we have two tied for the fourth and fifth position at 4 minutes 50. Guy Freckeland, a man who is trying to win the World Championship in this rally in the Talbot, and Tony Pond, our own Tony Pond, in the Vauxhall.
Well, that was midday on Sunday. From then on, the going got steadily tougher. In Grisdale Forest, for example, Mikkola, the Flying Finn, completely rolled his 160-mile-an-hour Audi off the road, which might have put him out of the rally altogether. In fact, it cost him just 57 seconds, just enough for Tony Pond to take the lead. Henry Toivonen, last year's winner, also fell off the road in his Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, which put him into a somewhat disgruntled 20th place. Meanwhile, the remarkable French woman driver, Michèle Mouton, continued her truly remarkable drive in the second Audi in this her first ever British rally. By Sunday evening, she was lying in third place, just 5 seconds off the leaders. Now, by the time the cars left Carlisle just before midnight, they were down to 130. And the 4 long forest stages in the border country proved the toughest stretch of the rally so far. Tony Pond lost his lead, Henry Toivonen and Malcolm Wilson went out, but the redoubtable Mike Jackson powered himself into an excellent 25th position. We pick up the crews as they pulled wearily into the Washington rest station in Newcastle for their breakfast halt.
It's been rated as one of the worst nights for storms in the history of the Lombard RAC Rally, and 60 cars were stranded in the forests of the north. Service crews had just a few minutes to change the tyres and repair some of the damage. Even top seed Hannu Mikkola showed all the signs of a hard night's drive.
I was just driving too fast in the fog. I got faster than I could see. That was the reason, you know. And suddenly it was 90 left and I rolled there.
Did you only lost 1.5 minutes?
Yes.
Then we asked top British rally driver Tony Pond for his comments on the night's driving.
Terrible. I've never seen anything quite so bad, really. The rains were coming down in stair rods, and it's just slush and mud and no grip. Very interesting.
And a word from the tenacious Mike Jackson.
Well, it's been very wet and sticky, and I've never seen rain like it, but everything on the stage has been okay, but we've had a bit of electrical problems, which has dropped us quite a bit of road time, so we're running rather back down the field at the moment.
How are the Lake District stages?
Not too bad. Keele was a lot worse. Absolute sheeting in rain. I've never rallied in conditions like that before. You know, it's very misty 1 minute and sheeting down with rain the next, and you can't see down the straights to see the next corner. And terrible.
So it's on again through the Yorkshire stages, as seen from the dealer team Vauxhall Chevette, with Tony Pond at the wheel. Part of the Langdale stage was a morass of mud, and only just passable. By 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon, the wintry weather had returned, as the rally moved into the Wycombe stage near Scarborough. First into the stage and leading by a clear 6 minutes, the four-wheel drive turbocharged Audi Quattro. Undoubtedly the most technically advanced rally car ever to ride the forest roads, and driven by one of the most skilled rally drivers of all time, Hannu Mikkola. The cheers which preceded second place Tony Pond's Vauxhall Chevette said it all. The hopes of all the spectators willing him on to get clear of Ari Vatanen, only 7.5 seconds behind, in third place. The Renault 5 Turbo of Jean Ragnotti pours on the power a little too soon, spins and loses 8 seconds. It could cost him a place. This is the second Audi Quattro, driven by Michel Mouton, lying in 5th place and having a brilliant drive. Notice the exhaust flames, so characteristic of these turbocharged Audis. Former Saab driver Per Eklund, battling for a top 10 place in the Toyota Celica. There were nearly a dozen different types of Japanese cars in the rally, including this Mazda RX-7, driven by New Zealander Rod Millen.
Well, there's the RAC Rally living up to its reputation for the worst of the weather. And as the crews straggled into Chester last night, they were down to 80. Tony Pond, lying a brilliant second, had gone out with a broken half shaft. Mike Jackson had suffered total electrical failure. Meanwhile, Michelou had put an iron grip on the lead with the totally dominant Audi. Today, the drivers pushed on into Wales in what has been described as the tough sting in the tail of this year's rally. By 6 o'clock, they'd covered 6 more stages and were pulling into the Brecon rest area where John Taylor was waiting for them.
And here comes Hannu Mikkola with his 10-minute lead, and the Lombard RAC driving his 4-wheel drive Audi Quattro. We'll see if we can have a quick word with him. Hannu, what's it like with a 10-minute lead this stage of the rally? You've still got 1/3 to go and the snow's coming down. Is this in your favour?
I don't know, you know, it's... I should prefer to have a once clear weather in this island, on this island, but it hasn't happened during these 5 years yet.
Yes. What's it like to drive a 4-wheel drive car as opposed to a 2-wheel drive car, which you've used to been driving over the previous years?
Much better. It accelerates much better and sliding much less.
You had a problem in Grisdale Forest early on in the rally. I understand you rolled. Did you need the spectators to get you going again or not?
They help us to get it on the wheels, but I could get it out then with the 4-wheel drive. It's easy.
Was it a deep place that you went off in?
It was quite a lot mud and, you know, quite difficult to get it out.
And I understand it was very foggy at the same time.
It was fog, that's why I went off. I was driving too fast in the fog.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Hannu. And here we have Michel Mouton, currently in 3rd place. Michel, how's it been for you so far on this rally? Your first time in England?
Yes, sure.
How has it been for you? Do you like English forest and these conditions?
You must like, when you are doing rally, you must like it, you know.
Yes. Are you going to try and overtake Ari Vatanen, who is in 2nd place?
I don't know.
You haven't made up your mind yet?
No. It's not very interesting. For me, the most important is to go fast and to try to make the best. I never think about a race.
But normally you've been driving 2-wheel drive and now you drive the 4-wheel drive Audi Quattro. What's it like?
It's more motricity, it's more easy when it is gravel, sure.
Thank you very much indeed, and may I wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Ari Vatanen, you're lying in 2nd place in this year's rally, but the most important thing for you is the World Championship and the situation. Now tell me, what is the exact situation as far as that goes?
Well, in a World Championship, in order to clinch the title, we should finish in top 5, and our main rival, Fregeland, who at the moment is leading in the championship, he should always be behind us. So as long as we finish in top 5 and he's behind us, we should be alright.
This is an unusual situation for you to play it a little bit piano. How do you think you can cope with a girl, Michelle Mouton, catching you up just slowly at the moment and snow forecast?
Well, of course, a bit embarrassing, you know, she keeps catching us, but I think I have got my eyes on this championship more than on her, so although she's very good looking as well, but I think if she goes, I will let her go past.
You will. And how has the car been? Have you had any problems at all?
No, not at all whatsoever, and I hope it goes that way, you know. Looks like a clockwork, the car.
The RAC is living up to its usual reputation of awful weather. You've just come back from the Ivory Coast where it was very hot and sticky. How do you finding the English weather now?
Well, it's the usual British weather, but that's what's the beauty of rallying. It's anything happens on rallies, and we go from ice in Lapland, we go to British weather, we go to Panama. That's the beauty of rallying.
And now it's, I gather the stages are very slippery indeed after the rain of the previous night.
That's right, and there's some frost as well, but we just try to keep it on the island.
You have 167 stage miles to go from here to the finish. I hope you can cope. Do you think you will?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be. I'm quietly confident.
Jolly good. Would you like to drive a four-wheel drive car and be up with Hanu, battling with him?
No, I think that would be too hairy at this moment.
Ari, of course, a rally crew is two people. How much does the co-driver help you in these situations?
Well, it's a teamwork, of course, and co-driver is, of course, important part of this chain. And as I said, that the chain is as weak as the weakest ring, and so it's important that we work well together.
And the mechanics, of course, they're working in most awful conditions. You owe a lot to them.
Well, of course, and so far they have been fantastic. So.
And I think you would be the youngest man ever to win the World Championship.
Well, let's not speculate that. I mean, we still have this 167 stage match, as you said.
Well, Hanu, can I wish you the very best of luck, and let's hope it all goes well for you to the end.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, half an hour ago, the survivors in this rally, now under 65, left Brecon for the last testing 20 hours to the mountains of North Wales. There's a lot to go, can happen. But let me first of all bring you right up to date with the position on this leaderboard. Mekela now seems unbeatable with his enormous 11-minute lead. In fact, the latest results show he's increased that lead by 10 seconds. Martin must surely be content with maintaining that high place because that gives him this year's Drivers' Championship. Mouton, well, despite a flu, holding that remarkable third place. In fact, the latest result shows he's actually closing up on Vatanen by 42 seconds. Blomqvist, fourth place, giving Talbot the Manufacturers' Championship this year. McRae hanging in there for us and doing a very good drive with the Opel Ascona. But the real question here tonight is not will Mekela win for the third time, but will what's happened on this rally with the dominance of Audi change the world of rallying forever? Well, that's all from Chester tonight. Next week we'll see you at the Midlands Motor Control Centre. Until next week.